I hatched. Sibling waits nearby, twitching and making sounds. But you don't pay much attention right now. You're too tired to care. You just rest, taking in this strange new world. A few minutes later, you're more alert. You lift your head and look around. The nest is cramped and messy, with sticks and feathers packed tightly together. Your sibling moves closer to you, opening its tiny beak like it's expecting something. It stares for a second before giving you a weak peck on the head. You freeze. Was that necessary? No, but this is how things go. The pecking gets more aggressive. It pushes you, snapping at your head like it's trying to say, I was here first. You try to push back, but you're not strong enough yet. You wobble back and almost fall onto your side. This goes on for a while, a weird, clumsy fight that neither of you are winning. Eventually, you both tire out and collapse. For now, it's a draw. But then something incredible happens. Food, a shadow passes over the nest, and a massive beak lowers towards you. You feel something soft and warm hit your face. You open your beak, and the food drops right in. It tastes strange, but you swallow it without question. Your sibling gets fed next, gulping its portion in one bite. For a moment, everything feels peaceful. You sit next to each other, full and content. But peace never lasts long in the nest. The days pass and you're starting to get stronger. Your legs hold your weight now, and your wings are finally stretching out. You test them, flapping awkwardly in the cramped space of the nest. But your sibling isn't making life easy. Every time food arrives, it's chaos. They push, snap, and shove you out of the way. At first, you let it happen. You're smaller and waiting your turn seems like a smart idea. They always seem faster, stronger, and hungrier. But hunger changes things. One day, the rumbling in your belly is too much to ignore. The next bite feels like it might be your last chance. This time, you decide to push back. Food drops into the nest, and your sibling makes their usual move. They jump forward, ready to claim it all for themselves. But you don't step aside. You lower your head and give them a sharp peck on the chest. They freeze, blinking at you, shocked for a second. Everything is still. Then they lunge at you. You tumble over each other, kicking and twisting, fighting like it's the most important thing in the world. Neither of you is winning, but neither of you is backing down either. You peck harder, feeling their grip loosen just enough. Eventually, you both stop, gasping for air. The food is still sitting there between you, untouched. You don't hesitate. You grab it first, swallowing it whole before they can react. Your sibling glares at you, their beak slightly open, breathing hard. One day your parents stop bringing food. They land nearby, watching you, hungry. Then flight instinct clicks. But you knew this moment was coming. For the last 4 months you've been preparing. You spent hours walking around the nest, hopping from one edge to the other, flapping your wings just enough to lift off the ground for a few seconds. You learned how to balance on rocky ledges and steady yourself when the wind tried to push you over. And you knew that when the real flight came, it wouldn't be perfect. You'd crash. Everyone crashes the first time. You stand at the edge, legs shaking. The wind pulls at your wings, and for a second, you wonder if you should wait just a little longer. But there's no turning back now. You spread your wings, take a deep breath, and jump. The wind hits harder than you expected, throwing you sideways. You flap wildly, trying to get control, but it's no use. You spin, flip, and slam into a bush below. Your parents watch from above, circling, waiting for you to try again. You shake off the leaves, climb back to a higher spot, and spread your wings again. This time it feels a little better. You glide for a few seconds before losing balance and tumbling into a rock. It takes several tries. Every failed attempt leaves you more sore, more frustrated, but you don't stop. Finally, you catch the wind just right, your wings steady, and you feel it, the lift you've been waiting for. The air carries you higher, holding you steady. You're flying, really flying. It feels incredible. The cliffs blur below you, and for the first time the wind isn't fighting you. It's carrying you. Your parents call out from above, guiding you forward. Your heart races, but you flap harder. You glide beside them, feeling the rush of the sky all around you. But flying is only the beginning. Now you need to learn how to survive. Flying makes you hungry. You spend hours gliding over the cliffs, scanning the ground below for something, then you see it. Other vultures are circling in the distance, their shadows stretching across the ground. You follow them, pushing through the wind despite the burning in your wings. When you land, the smell hits you first, thick and heavy. The carcass is big, already surrounded by vultures tearing into it. You hesitate, watching the chaos unfold. The bigger vultures shove and snap at each other, fighting for the best pieces, their beaks drip with blood, their wings spread wide in a show of dominance. You stay on the edge, waiting for your chance. Finally, there's an opening. You dart forward and grab a chunk of meat. It's tough and cold, but it's food. You tear at it, swallowing as fast as you can. It's not much, but it's yours. No one notices for now. You're safe. What you don't realize is that you're doing something important, more than just filling your stomach. Vultures are nature's cleanup crew. You eat the parts no one else will touch. Bones, rotting flesh. Deadly diseases like anthrax won't affect you. They pass through your body like they were never there. You don't think about any of this. Of course, you're just here for the meal. But without vultures, the world would be full of things much worse than hunger. After your first successful meal, you get the hang of it. Carcasses mean survival, and every meal feels like a victory. But sometimes the real challenge isn't just finding food, it's keeping it. Other vultures aren't the only ones watching. One afternoon, you're soaring low over a road when you catch a different kind of scent. It's not a carcass, but it smells like meat. You tilt your wings, circling lower to get a better look. Below, a plastic bag lies half open, its contents spilling onto the ground. Bits of leftover meat poke out, shiny and red in the sun. You land carefully, your claws crunching against the dirt. The smell is strong, definitely food. You take a cautious step forward, tapping at the bag with your beak. It rips slightly, revealing more meat inside. For a moment it feels like you found an easy meal, then you hear it. A sound behind you. You freeze. A human stands just a few steps away, holding something in their hands. For a second, neither of you moves. Their eyes lock onto you, and then they wave their arms, shouting something loud and sharp. The sound cuts through the air, making your feathers bristle. You jump back, wings spread wide. They take another step toward you, their movements quick and clumsy. That's enough. You're gone, flapping hard into the sky. From above, you watch as they pick up the bag and toss it into a big metal bin. The food is gone. You won't forget that. Next time you'll be faster. But humans, you'll never fully trust them. By now, you've figured out how things work. You fly, you find food, you fight for your share. But there's always competition. Every carcass is a battleground, and no meal comes without a struggle. One afternoon, you spot a carcass from high above. You dive down fast, aiming to grab a piece before the crowd grows too large. But then you notice someone familiar, a rival you've seen before. Slightly bigger, slightly stronger. They always seem to get the best scraps. Before you can, the two of you lock eyes for a second. Neither of you moves. Then they make the first move. Lunging for the best piece, you dive in too, beak snapping at the same chunk of meat. You both clamp down at the same time. Neither of you lets go. They yank hard, their wings flaring for balance. You tug back, your feet slipping on the blood-soaked ground. For a moment it feels like they might win, but you hold on, digging your claws deeper into the dirt. You twist your head sharply, Trying to rip the meat free, they tug again, harder this time. Their beak dangerously close to your face. Your wings flap wildly for balance, and you nearly lose your footing, but you don't let go. Ripped meat, prize clutched, rival stares. Then they turn and walk away, scanning the carcass for something else. You sit down and take a bite. The taste is rich and warm, but you don't have time to savor it. Another vulture eyes your piece from the side, waiting for a chance to take it. You swallow quickly. Around here, the only rule is simple: eat fast or lose everything. Time passes. The days grow shorter, and the air turns colder. Autumn settles over the cliffs, bringing a quiet change. The same drive that pushed you to survive now pulls you towards something else. You don't know why, but you feel it. An urge to find a partner and build something of your own. You land on a rocky ledge, scanning the sky. The wind is steady, and the cliffs stretch far in both directions. This is a good spot, safe and high above the ground. Then you see them, another vulture circling just above. You watch quietly, waiting. They land beside you, their feathers ruffling in the breeze. Neither of you moves for a moment. Then they take a step closer. You stay together, you build a nest. It's not much, just a pile of sticks and leaves wedged between rocks. You bring piece after piece, weaving it into something sturdy. A few weeks later, 2 eggs lay in the center of the nest. You sit on them carefully, keeping them warm while your partner flies off to find food. Then one morning you feel a crack. The first chick wriggles free, its tiny body shaking as it pushes out of the shell. You nudge it gently, clearing bits of shell away. The second chick hatches a day later, smaller, but just as determined. The days blur. You bring food, tearing it for your hungry chicks. Their beaks open wide, squawking. Their legs strengthen, wings widen, soon ready to fly. The sky is clear as you lift off, wings stretching, family following. Their flight is clumsy but eager, learning. You glide higher, past cliffs into fields, wind humming softly. Then, a metal pole with wires shines in the distance. You've perched there safely before, so you glide towards it, landing with your family. For a moment, stillness, then a hum and a bright flash. A jolt strikes like fire, paralyzing you. Your partner cries, then falls silent. One chick struggles, the other tries to fly but fails. You want to help, but can't move. They fall, lifeless against you. The world spins, the hum fades, and above, other vultures glide, unaware. Vulture life is tough, but another creature has it worse. See the video.